Update, my F24 boyfriend, 28, if 10 years has become incredibly secretive of his phone, laptop, social media, and car. You are not responsible for his actions. His predatory behavior is not your fault. You are also his victim. And are taking the steps to try and prevent other girls from ending up under his control. You're being a goddamn hero. I was going to say, if they met 10 years ago, he was 18 and she was 14. That's borderline predatory already. I was assaulted when I was 15 by my HS track coach/SS teacher, who everyone loved. I told my best friend, and she had been having sex with him since 8th grade. I just hadn't been as susceptible to the grooming. And he moved too soon, I suppose. Turns out, his wife was a student the first year he taught HS. And when her parents found out, they agreed to keep the secret because he was a young teacher and they were going to get married. He was 36 when he attacked me, so 12 years since he'd started. It wasn't his wife's fault. It wasn't him friend's fault. It wasn't mine. It was all him. And I'm your case. It's all your guy. Thank you for going to the police. We didn't have the nerve or support. And he got fired from another HS before ending up at West Point. I would have loved to have gotten him out of teaching altogether. Edit. So we did get him fired from our HS. But he was working one town over by the following Monday. That's horrible. Depending on how long ago it was, it is not too late to report him. Even if your specific case doesn't go to trial, and it should, but I'm also not ignorant to our justice system. It very well might inspire other victims to come forward and report him as well. Please consider visiting your local rape crisis center. They can help guide you through the process of pressing charges. NICE has lifted the statute of limitations for this year only, and we are both age eligible to report. But my friend had a much harder life than I did. She was raped by her stepbrother at age 11 and moved in with the track coach and his family. She went from one situation to another for years. But she is doing really well now. I saw her in September and I wanted to bring it up. Neither of us live in New York anymore, but that's where we met up because of family. But I could tell she wouldn't want to dredge that up. I do wonder how many others are out there. I never told anyone what happened until I was 24 and ran into my guidance counselor in a bar. And he asked me what happened, that this guy was just gone. Everyone knew something had happened. And since the two of us were always with him, on the field, at his home, in his car, even having our coffee in the teacher's cafeteria, they knew it had something to do with us. The messed up thing was, I hung out in my counselor's office constantly. He asked me why I was suddenly always late to school, suddenly skipping classes, but he never ever asked about Mr. V. Just a random person here, but I just want you to know I'm so sorry you and your friend had to go through that insanity. I hope you're living a happy life. I'm all good, just very clear on who my kids spend time with. Thank you. Wow. I'm glad you left and reported him to police. He is a predator and needs to be locked up. Although it may not feel like it. I promise you will be okay. I second this. Thank you Op for doing the right thing. I know it's so traumatizing and hard for you to suddenly come to grips with your BF not only being deceitful, but also manipulating you as a young girl. I'm so proud of you, because this is not something many spouses/GFS do when faced with the possibility of their male partner grooming children. You are so strong, because you did exactly what so many do not feel they can do. You realized your BF was hiding things. But he obviously isn't very smart, because he didn't think of your thumbprint in his phone to unlock it. And you brilliantly found and sent yourself a proof of his indiscretions with kids. That's what they are. Can I third it? As a childhood sexual assault survivor, thank you so much Op. For the girls you saved from the same terrible fate. It took guts, but your impact is immeasurable. Again, thank you. Could I please be the one who takes the key to the cell they put him in? We can seal the lock with JB Weld to keep things secure in the meantime. Dude. I wish. I was assaulted at 13. My abuser was in his early 30s and a known creep. If there had been someone like Op in his life, That wouldn't have happened. I know I'm talking in hypotheticals, but this stuff gets me because she stopped his abuse short. It's a big deal. None of this is your fault. If you are 24 and he's been your boyfriend for 10 years, that means you were 14. Please recognize that you were groomed and violated too. I'm glad you reported him, and please get all the therapy you need. I know you feel you love him, but he's the only man you've ever known. You will continue to grow, and there will be other wonderful men in your life. Take care, Opus. Eater, hey, thanks for the award. I'm fancy now. This is exactly what I came to say. She was 14 when they started dating. She needs to run fast and report him with any evidence she has, unrelated. But what does grooming mean in this context? To be more concrete than the other answers. Things like giving a minor gifts, telling them they're special/mature, spending time with them alone. None of these things are outright sexual contact, but they groom or prime the child to accept escalating advances. It's almost like you're reserving them for when they get to an age where you're legally allowed to date them. Well, they end up still having sex way underage. This is why we need to educate teenagers that an older man taking a romantic interest in them is not okay. It's not normal. Many don't understand until a decade or so later. There was a post recently about someone being in this situation, and their therapist condoned it, saying she has also dated much older men as a teenager. It's definitely creepy. I remember having a crush on my piano teacher when I was in high school, and he was in his early 30s. And I also remember thinking that if he actually put the moves on me, how gross that would be. I had a girl in my 9th grade class fucking obsessed with one of the history teachers. It bothered the hell out of me. She would talk about him all the time in other classes, and yeah, dude was good looking and built. Probably like mid-30s ish IDK. But she would like cream herself looking at him or talking about him. I never told anyone about my piano teacher crush. Even as a teen I knew it was inappropriate. In grad school one of my classmates was dating a newly minted professor. He was maybe 5 to 8 years older, but it still seemed really gross. I notice in your last post you got downvoted to oblivion for saying you pursued him when you were 14. I see you also say he might have groomed you. Not attacking in any way. But now that you're older, do you see having a 14 years old daughter dating an 18 years old guy? Can you see what kind of guy would be into that? Yeah, I definitely understand how wrong and gross it was. I've always been curious about those situations and how the young person sees it as they grow up. Thank you. I'm sorry you had to experience all of that. I hope your next relationship is one you can both truly feel comfortable and safe in. I was 14 when I met my first BF. We became official when I was 15. Well, he was 21. Legal age of consent is 14 in my country. But until you're 18 your partner must not be more than 4 years older. So it was illegal. He was kinda childish. So it didn't feel like grooming. Still doesn't tbh. I thought I was the S4 having a BF with a car and everything. In my social circle it was always cool to have an older BF. Of course now it creeps me TF out. How can a grown man be attracted to a 14 over 15 year old? I dumped him back then, and he found a new GF same age as me. She got pregnant. They married. My cousin had a thing going with a man aged 26 when she was 14. I was horrified. But her mom and I managed to easy her out of that. There are very little feelings left, but that was textbook grooming. Hey op, you're likely to meet this 15-year at some point down the road. Especially if this goes to court. She's probably going to be really angry at you. She's going to blame you for breaking up a good relationship. Hurl untruths at you. Possibly say you're simply jealous of what she and your ex had because you were being cheated on. I mean, I might be wrong. But just remember how you defended that guy in your original post's comment section. Imagine that, but even more heated in some ways. She's young. She's in the middle of the honeymoon phase and in the middle of his grooming. She doesn't have the suspicion that he's cheating on her. In fact, she knows he was cheating on someone with her, which can do a great deal in bolstering someone's self-esteem. I suppose what I'm trying to say is your trial is just beginning. Perhaps talk to that new therapist about how you can help this girl, or at the very least, how you can keep from letting her hostility, if she exhibits any, from getting to you. Because anyone who says you're not the victim, or you did the wrong thing, or you should have let him be, or that you unjustly ruined his life is so wrong. It might get hard to believe that at times. But you did the right thing. He deserves to be punished. And you deserve happiness. Surround yourself with people who believe the same. Take care of yourself. Op. Edit. Fixed formatting. Oh. This. 100%. Yes. That girl is going to hate Op with vitriol, and that's okay. Op can love her and continue to implacably do the right thing by her without requiring the girl to like her or to ever appreciate it. Under no circumstance should Op take on board anything that girl says about her or her motivations. Yes, you said what I was trying to say in far fewer words. You're incredibly strong. Trust me, I'm really not. I ignored very obvious red flags because I was so love-struck. That's just being human. What's important is that you acted on it when you realized what was going on, not pushing it to the back of your mind. That's strong. I hope you the best.